I just wanted to do an update because I did a quick thing on this and I wasn't even sure what the heck happened. But it was pretty sad because there was like a ton of people passing away. And also today there was like two mass shootings. It's like weird. But I kind of want to touch on this really quick, even though this is in the mirror. So, the family is really pissed off at these rumors. It definitely wasn't for me. I was like, one of the things is that the media was really pushing that they were talking about euthanasia, and so it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't know what they were planning, and it was none of our business. But they did talk about it, and I think what happened was the media was speculating about that, this is kind of a different thing because in that thing, it's a process where people pre-plan and then they get everything set up and then something, and then they plan the thing. So I didn't know if it was something, well, oh, maybe they did because I don't know. It kind of looked like it, but, which is kind of a different thing than what they're saying right now. I don't know who started it. I've been really busy and I've been done other media. There's like a million other things. But here's what she said. She's sickened by the rumors that have emerged since his death, with claims that he took his own life. Okay. Okay, so that would be different because in the euthanasia thing, if they ever did that, apparently they did it because now she's saying some stuff. It's not him doing it. It's like an administered thing through another individual. And that's usually done, when people can't function, that whole topic. So I was like, I'm fine with talking about that topic. But she's kind of clarifying that they actually didn't do it. But they did talk about it. So, I mean, they did talk about it. So that's probably where the media originally got it and then was pulling that up. But some people went to town with this in a way that's really bizarre. Okay, so the family of Ozzy was upset by disturbing rumors surrounding his death. And then the frontman, who was 76 years old, passed away, on the 22nd after he returned home when they were doing the tour. And so his wife of 43 years was with him during the final moments at their home, and the air ambulance was called. Okay, so it was well known that the singer had been battling Parkinson's disease for years, since his diagnosis in 2003. Yes, and there was major topics on it, so that was where that came from. So fans were shocked when the news broke in the statement. Yeah, it was, that was very abrupt. I mean, I will say, I was just kind of like, do I want to say anything? Because I'm probably not going to say, like, I just not things that, right now, there's just too much going on, and it's just kind of difficult. So he said he was with family and surrounded by love. Okay, so they said that, and then what happened was, the musician had 3 children and his wife, Amy Jack Kelly, who believed to have been with him when he passed away. Despite his long-term illness and advanced age, online trolls are spreading hurtful rumors that he took his own life. Okay. These rumors were even discussed on various U.S. radio stations, including on Sirius. Those two things are different, though. When they're talking about euthanasia or doing the other thing, did they actually say that? That's awful. I just was like questioning it. I didn't say that, and nor would I have said the other thing, but they said, which hosted a channel dedicated entirely to Ozzy. But you almost, when you think about it, Ozzy was pretty controversial and did some crazy stuff that I could kind of see where I don't even think that it's like purpose. I don't think the fans, since they're fans doing it, I don't think they're like purposely trying to be evil about it. I think, they just thought all the crazy things. I don't know. It's interesting. A distressed family friend told The Sun, the family is still grieving. To deal with this bullshit is vile. It has deeply sickened Sharon and children. Ozzy passed away at home. The paramedics tried to save him. It is simply disgusting because these social media idiots are not credible, but somehow their narrative is spreading every day. Even though they have no knowledge, other online users treat this fake news as fact. The raft of trolls and rumors have spiraled in recent days. It is quite sick that people would think that Ozzy would do such a thing. The man absolutely loved being around his family and his grandchildren especially. They went on to reveal the vile comments had flooded the family's feeds with accusations that they were potentially involved in this conspiracy. The family is believed to be horrified by such speculation during such a difficult time. These claims have caused quite an uproar, having been shared thousands of times across news websites and social media platforms. People have gone as far as to create AF videos of the rock star making confessions about plans to take his own life. Wow, that's... The source went on to tell the publication, Ozzy has been in great spirits following his farewell show, but he had also had a lot to look forward to in the upcoming months. There's no way he would have taken his own life because no matter how tough his physical and mental conditions were, being with his family and especially his grandchildren provided him with immense joy and huge highs. According to the source, Ozzy was actively developing a potential TV documentary project centered around his Sabbath farewell performance. Additionally, as reported, looking forward to promoting the launch of his memoir in September. Wow, that's actually taking the initial topic that they had and just turning it into like, I don't know. I didn't even want to really talk about it. It was like I brought it up, but then like I don't know what they did. I really don't know what they did. That was the whole thing. But I would have never done that. Only because, you know, like there was a long history with them with the other camp and stuff like that. And it's like I don't have any hate for them. Like I wouldn't even do that. Yeah, so I just wanted to do clarification on my channel about it because I don't want anybody thinking any of that. And they clarified what happened there. So, yeah. So we wish them well. She's going through a hard time. That's why I was just like, we just need to make sure like everybody pays attention to everything around here. Because that's a, I don't know. Everything's just bad right now. Like everything is really bad right now. I don't even want to read the media. Like every time there's like this story, it's like, it's going to get me going off, and I'm just trying to get things done right now. And just, there's been a lot of things going on. So I guess they took it, again, they took it to a whole different level. I don't know. That thing is, I can't deal with a lot of the, YouTube channels because I just saw one yesterday. So I was actually doing a clip. And it just goes on and on and on. So then I just never put it up. So they were talking about this universe of business of these guys with the Epstien, you know, thing and everything. And I'm trying to explain, like, the universe does not just revolve around this dude. And there's a lot of people in here that have these issues and have done these things. And I go to this channel. And it's one thing to give your opinion, right? You can give your opinion and go, you know, I don't know, maybe he did, you know what I mean? Like, I would never put it as a fact. You would know it's my opinion. My opinion may be wrong. We always say that. But this guy has, like, he has, like, over 500,000 followers. And he started alluding to... He brought up this thing that Trump said, and it's like, yeah, Trump's terrible. Okay, maybe he did say that in private. I have no idea. We have no idea, right? I don't know. It's being said by somebody else, you know, about pushing Marla Maples down the stairs or something. I go, maybe he did say that. I have no idea. But okay, so then taking something from like 30 years back, and then his one other ex-wife falls down the stairs and dies. And they kind of started like, you know, when they start hinting about it, it's like, hey, maybe Trump murdered his ex-wife. And it's just like, for what? First of all, there's nothing to even allude to there because he's not there. Was anybody else there? No. I mean, basically, there's no, and there would be no MO for that. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you could probably come up with something, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, they're not together. They have nothing, you know, they're doing that. She was saying all these wonderful things towards the end anyway. And they sort of put this thing out there like, oh, maybe he like killed his wife. And there's like 1 million views on that thing. And I was like, we're already taking something that it already spun out of control as it is, but I'm trying to reel it into reality. Like, reality is like a ton of these dudes are totally horrible monsters and they just hang out with each other and they all agree that that's totally fine. It's just fact. And, and a lot of people that have to deal with that universe of things know that everybody's terrible. Like, a lot of the people are terrible. And then, and I'm just talking about my thing, and it's like, it is credible, so I don't know. But then they don't listen to it. What they do is they listen to the fake stuff. So again, this is probably a similar thing, because at least what I was talking about was something that they themselves were talking about. And so I thought, oh, maybe they did do, I don't know, they could have. It would be interesting. It was like, yeah, but no, apparently they didn't, which that's just terrible. So it wasn't like, set up like that. So, yeah, it could have been though, because, I don't know if you would say it's becoming more common, but, more people, it's less stigmatized today than it used to be. And what the hell happened to my screen? um, and that's okay, but I don't consider it the same way. So it's almost like somebody took that, they perverted it and went a whole different route and saying that he did something. I would never do that. I know Sharon's going through a lot. It's just, that's effed up. I don't even want to like say anything further, because it's just, she's gonna, be dealing with that for a while. So, I just wish them all well. We don't have any, negative things to say over there. It's just, we're talking about other topics though around this business universe and other things on these cases with kidnappings and things like that, which is one of them so happened to be at the Ozfest, which it wasn't Ozzy or Sharon. We're just and it's just the fact that nobody really cares about that. But that's a different, I'm so annoyed by that, you guys. There's nothing I could do about it. YouTube doesn't care. Like, they're just like, whatever gets the views. The media's doing it too. So whatever she's talking about, it's the same thing. They're like, well, if the topic gets the views, then that's what we're going to talk about. And like, really important things we're not going to talk about. Real things we're not going to talk about. And it's like, if it sounds crazy enough to get tons of people to watch it so we can get views and money, then we're going to say those things. And I just want to make sure that nobody thinks I'm in this universe that those people doing that. That's just messed up. Oh, what was the other insinuation on that Jeffery thing? Oh, well, they tried to do that too with him, saying that that somebody else killed him. That was another thing. So I was like, that's actually extraordinarily common that those men do that. You could tell actually when he talks. I just wanted to tail in on that thing. You could actually tell in when he talks that he has a personality disorder, like big time, and he doesn't filter it. He basically just goes on like, yeah, hey, I'm a criminal. Hey, yeah, I'm a criminal. Hey, yeah, I partook in this crazy ass stuff. Hey, yeah, and so did these other people, but I did too. So, hey, yeah, and it's like, yep, mm-hmm. Yeah, and typically those guys are chronically depressed, like where that's why they do those things, and then they don't want any accountability either. For them to be thrown in prison for life is probably like an extraordinarily depressing thing for a narcissist, like socio type of person. But it's so common. It's so common. It's just, I tell people, I go, the thing that's pissing me off about the prison system is that they know it's so common and then they do not watch them. Like, there's a careless element to that. So as far as the Jeffery thing goes, yeah, there was a careless element to it where they did not watch him properly to allow that to happen. But I do not believe on any level that somebody did something to him. I believe that he did it himself, and it's just because any truthful things anybody says anyway about him, they'll disregard it anyway. Like if he was out here spilling his guts out, which he had said some things, that the individuals that he's speaking of continues to deny them. So pretty much, it goes into, those categories of things. Too much movie watching with some people, but, not to say it can never happen, but technically that's where that thing lands. As far as Trump being good friends with them, hell yeah, he was for years and years and years. They were pretty good pals. Like, it doesn't mean that he knew. It doesn't necessarily. It's like this. He could have known. He couldn't have known. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean he knew that he was doing this other stuff and these like group things, like the Diddy party. He may have had knowledge that it sounded like he had knowledge anyway, that he had really young girls around. So, like I said, but he shouldn't be denying that they were good friends, because they were. And then there was a whole thing about it. Yeah, he was one of the limited people that they brought into that party. But I was saying that there was a lot of other people that are the same people in that group that were also in another group of people. And for some reason, the media wanted to push away the Nygaard story. And I'm like, well, it's very much together. The same universe of people. And there's a couple of people I got some major questions for, because they were directly talking to. It wasn't, oh, I'm paying $1,000 to show up at one of your events. It wasn't that. And then there's another female that it's really strange to me, because not only is she in their photos, she's also in the photo album that I have. And I had to look her up, because I was like, God, I haven't seen that woman in years and years and years. And I know she's really popular probably in New York because of MTV and whatnot. But yeah, she's married allegedly. So I was kind of like, these guys have no shame or something. I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, I would just inquire about that one. Marla Maples, I do believe, was in some things with Nygaard too. So I had pulled up all these photos. I just cannot find the reference to it. I went onto his site again on that international whatever, where he has about 1,000 photos, and I had pulled it up. I was like, I don't think there's another case that I'm mixing up with that one. Yeah, I pulled it up because I was like, Marla, because it's kind of weird. Like, I was like, why is she in there? I don't know. And nobody cared. I was like, I don't know. And so I pulled it up, and then it was like, I don't know, like 2 years ago maybe or something. And then now, like, they're really talking about her and asking some questions. I'm like, well, I don't know, but, she was a model type, so maybe I can't answer it. I found it, but then I couldn't find it yesterday. So I was like, well, maybe it's on maybe it's on this other site where they have about 1,000 other photos. I go, I don't have time for that right now. But yeah, she was seen in another group of people here. So in one of their group pictures. And then what I was trying to point out, like on my my other thing, was that when Whoopi Goldberg, so she used to date Ted Danson or something. Okay, so I met him. He's really nice. He was really nice. I know people got issues with him because he did blackface and all that weird stuff. But he's actually a really nice guy. I would say that was highly ignorant. But the time period when they were dating, Whoopi here, I don't know. Allegedly, when she was on TV, she was saying, like, it's not really rape being with the teen or something. It was really off. And I was like thinking about this. I go, yeah, she's another one that wouldn't have an issue seeing it at the time, because she totally minimized that thing. So she'd be like, oh, it's semi-consensual, right? And I go, oh yeah, she actually fits the bill to be like in the group of those people and like literally not say anything. Not saying she got involved with doing any of that. It's that if she saw it anyway, it wouldn't have even, she wouldn't have cared. And I think she was doing a lot of drugs then because she was actually talking about going into places where there was like bowls of drugs and nobody would get busted. But the thing is that Ted Danson also at that time in my album is hanging out with Kevin Spacey. And I was like, oh, okay, so we got a lot of things in here. I mean, I don't know. I don't like they would have to answer for this. So I don't know if it's just for the event because, well, they did a movie together, I think, at that time. So they have a relation, but it could be that you know what? I haven't even looked at Ted Danson in a while. He could have made a comment like, you know, he's bad. I don't know what the hell. So I would have to look into that. But at this point in time in the, I don't know if that's the late 90s or early 90s. They're at an event together also. It's not part of the movie. They're like at an event together. And so, yeah, and Kevin's in the circle of those people. But Kevin's claiming he doesn't really know them, but he knows Bill Clinton. And yes, I do believe Bill Clinton was part of everything. But I also, it looks like Bill Clinton was preying on Kevin. Like, I'm just being dead serious. He looks like he's like overtly like I really like Kevin. Like maybe Kevin tried some moves and then he just like, oh, I really do like you, Kevin. And then he's just like all over him. It's strange. But yeah, I do believe that. And then there was a couple other people they brought up that strange. I would have to look into them, but on his like birthday party thing. Yeah. It's, you know, some of those things are kind of hard to go by because maybe like some of his other good friends, he didn't have them there. But, it almost sounds like he didn't have any, like, well, it's like he has friends, but like not, I mean, if that's the only list of friends for his birthday party thing, then he technically has a smaller circle of friends. I don't know. It's strange. But even still, it doesn't. I just find it really strange for it to be the like they're treating it like he's the center of the universe, and it's really annoying. He's not. Like there's more bigger monsters in the pond. You know what I mean? In this shark fest, okay? It's like they're all bad, but there's obviously other bad people in here too. So those are my comments for the last couple of days. And then, oh, and Billy Joel's really upset about the running into the tree thing. So I was like, if only he could be honest about that thing. Well, it's one of two things. It's like either which seems to be the topic today, people doing this, but he either did it on purpose to harm himself, or he is trying to still be in denial that he wasn't drinking then. But I honestly think he never stopped drinking from day one. So I think he was just chronically drunk throughout his whole career. And then when you hear the stories, how he was at home, he just seems in such flat out denial and blackouts. Like they said, he didn't even know he ate all the spaghetti or something. And then he had a flip out and blamed everybody and kicked everybody out. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, so I had a friend that did that because, not act like that, but she had major blackouts, so she wouldn't even know. Like, I asked her about the span of, like, 2 years just about, and she's like, I don't remember anything. And I'm like, that's pretty bad. That's when you know you had a really bad drinking problem because you can't even remember, like, this span of time. Yeah, and so it just could be that his brain, because he drank so much, he was not present. So when, you know, people are confronting him about these incidents, he just has no recollection. And then he's just like, I never did that. I have no idea. He's like, the cops didn't put that. I was like, yeah, because if the cops didn't even check you, well, besides their corruption, walking drunks are hard to tell that they're even drunk because they're so used to drinking all the time that they're not normal unless they have a drink. and then they're operating, right? Like I would say semi-normal human being. I mean, if you're really paying attention, you could kind of tell they're a little toasted. But it is kind of hard sometimes to tell that people are just chronically drunk. And so maybe it's either cop failure because they knew he, purposely, oh, he's so and so, so he doesn't seem that bad. I don't know. We won't get you in trouble, dude. Just like the one with Rob Halford where he said that they busted him in a bathroom and they're like, we're going to be nice and not put it in the media. Yeah, like things like that. Or if it was the other, then he should have been 5150. Like, I mean, that's just a clear cut. Like, you needed to have a hold. So I don't know. He's just, it's like he's never talked about it honestly in the public before. He's just like, no, I didn't do that. You guys need to see my report. I was like, well, you could say that, Billy, but we're not buying into it. Sorry, honey. I was like, we've been listening to you for years, but I just because of that doesn't mean I'm going to believe what you're saying. I was like, the song was a lie. I was like, he lied to me the whole time. There's no honesty in here. I know. I mean, honestly, I wish him well. I wish him the best in sobriety, and no matter, it's just because it took like 70 some odd years to get to this point. No, I do. So I'm just kind of, as a fan, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that fan that's like, I'll believe everything you say because you said it. And so we need to just believe it. It's like, no. We knew something. It's just, I didn't hear all these stories before. And the only way I heard about that tree thing was because of Justin Timberlake, because the media keeps bullying Justin Timberlake. So they were going on in Justin Timberlake, and then somehow the Billy story popped up, and I'm like, he crashed into a tree? Sober? They were trying to say he was sober, and I was just like, what? That's not a thing. I was like, that's not a thing. Unless it's a purposeful act. And if it was a purposeful act, many times they would have had to drink anyway and do that. So he was just, I don't know. He's like, this is really hurting me. But you know what else hurt him is when Elton, because he's not a nice guy either. But when he straight up told him, he's a drunk. Okay, well, he got mad, and I'm sitting here going, but that's about as honest as you could get about it. And he's mad about the truth, and he's like, like, you shouldn't have done that, or you shouldn't have said those things. And then yet it's true, right? It's just like point blank true. It's not like trying to like cuddle fest or whatever, because Ellen could be the biggest D word ever. But I probably would have said it too, because I've said things for other people, but I've said it in a different way. I always kind of go, oh, they're reminding me of Daddy. Like, that's what I say. And because my dad drank a lot, so that's where I go with it. But I was like, but at least like somebody's calling it out. You have to call it out because they're totally out of control. And he's in denial. He's like, well, maybe that did things in my life. I'm like, dude, this guy hasn't even like really. You could tell like isn't really like fully went through it yet. Like, he's still in these areas of, like, denial, and I think he's just so used to lying. He's so used to lying that telling the truth is pretty hard. And maybe the ex-wives, like, would agree with that. Mostly after those stories, you could almost tell, like, he, like, is a habitual liar. Like, he lies about things chronically to cover up, like, whatever conduct he's doing, which includes drinking, but and he'll just make up another story to it. That's what I'm getting from him. So the song Honesty just like throws me off really bad. Like, he must have read it in like the third like his girlfriend saying it to him. I don't know. I need some honesty from myself. So let me, he's a great songwriter, and we were talking about that here, and unfortunately, he chose to talk with Bill Maher out of all people, and it made it, just terrible. Because one of the first questions he asked me is like, how you doing with those woke people? And I'm just like, wait a minute. How old are you? And you're talking to somebody that wrote like about a bazillion hits for decades. And he has serious mental health issues, okay? And he has some new, some chronic disease, some other new thing. And you're gonna waste your time and make him answer a stupid, dumb question like that. That's gonna piss some people off. Like, he has a lot of fans. He has fans that do not give a shit about politics, okay? Nobody's in this political world, like, like we want to hear any of that crap. Like, they want to hear, like, what is he done? How, just things revolving around his music, his health, and, how he's going through this thing right now. And then I think they're having a documentary or some type of biography. Something's coming up, which is why they're all in the media, I think, right now. But, no. And then it just makes it where it's just like the people who are fans are listening to it and they're like, what? Yeah, and then they didn't like it. And they didn't like him or Bill. And then, but I was trying to say, doesn't it feel like that Bill's just making him sound stupid because he just was all nice and he answered the question. Like, he just answered the question and it didn't even sound right. It sounded like he's taking advantage of him. That's what it sounded like. Like, he's taking advantage of an older person, asking him some stupid ass question because it's important to Bill Maher only, or to want to like drag like a group of people because he's an idiot. But again, Bill and their team wanted to go do this talk out with them, I guess, because it was on Daily Mail, and I was like, this really, of all people. They could be friends in private life. I have no idea, but that is literally not the person who should be doing the interview, and not those type of questions. It's stupid. It led him just it made him sound worse. It made him sound like a unlikable guy, like a really bad unlikable. I'm like, that's not working. You just let him into that place. Like, he's purposely trying to make everybody hate Billy Joel, like, in that way, instead of like trying to like bring him to the point, like, yeah, he has some major struggles, he has problems, and then during that he wrote a lot of hit songs. I mean, something, not make him even more just likable from his conduct. Because I don't even know if he runs around talking like that. Woke. I hope not. There was a huge, like, late night feud, between some hosts and stuff from a long time ago. Okay, anyway, we have a connection. And the connection is my stalker, which is the craziest story ever. But I actually, on this one, I am on side Jay Leno. I actually agree with him. I was like, I don't have a problem with, Stephen Colbert getting canceled. I have my reasons. I was like, I have my personal reasons, which has nothing to do with being on. I'm not a MAGA, so I'm not insulted by those things. However, here's what he said, and I just kind of want to point it out, and I thoroughly agree with that. So Jay Leno criticized political late night host amid his cancellation. And what he said was, I like to think that people come to a comedy show to kind of get away from things, the pressure of life, whatever it might be. You are correct, Leno. The last thing I want to see is people dragging some other predators into this. There was a lot of things that were going on in the last decade or so. Yeah. It says, and I love political humor. Don't get me wrong. Of course, we all do. We could take it on both sides. I mean, you have to be able to do it. You have to be able to do it on yourself and on others if you're going to even go there. And then it's all, but what happens is people wind up cozying too much to one side or the other. Why shoot just for half an audience? Why not try to get the whole audience? I think it'd be one thing if he had his own YouTube channel, right? And like he wants his targeted audience. Okay, so you have your targeted audience. You want your targeted audience to be more like you, right? So if your viewpoints are that, you could zero in on only this side. But I would like to think, like, if you're doing like some national television show, like some major TV show for like everyone, that you would try to keep it in the middle. Like, I would almost think, like, logically that's what you'd want to do anyway, because your whole thing is to try to get viewers, and it's not like a political thing that's supposed to be like a one-sided thing. I would think so. I don't disagree with that. And I'd say that most people would have been fine with it and probably wouldn't notice much of anything when things are like thrown about, right? Like Biden's missing things on the teleprompter and somebody says something and just knocks a joke on it. And then they start coming in with a Trump joke or something like that. But when it's like that, then it's like it's harder to get like totally fuming pissed at someone when it's like there's all these different ones going about. And I think even some people see that I don't, at least today, I don't like stick on one side anymore. Like I don't even want to be a part of either one. But I was like, either one, can I just trash them all though? I want to do his show and I want to just trash every single one of them. I was like every single one. But also, why is the late night just men? So that was another thing. So some of the issues were we were talking about females in television, and then they were trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're trying to do all these things and blah blah blah. And the next thing you know, they go and hire Steve Colbert. And I'm like, nothing personal, dude. At that time, it was like, nothing personal, dude, but what the hell's this? So they didn't even try, okay? So they throw in this Catholic, Stephen Colbert. So then one day he starts making some jokes and cracks about some of our work stuff, like some other work thing that some people probably were not aware of. But anyway, so it was already hard enough trying to explain to the public like what those things are. And then it caused these massive targets from like people like Peter Thal and their clan. And then that went into the PayPal mafia thing. That all that stuff went into that. And it was their way of saying, we just hate women and target women. We don't believe that they should have an income. So therefore we're gonna go target all these people and harass the shit out of them and then make everybody homeless. And I'm like, Stephen Colbert, it doesn't even faze him because he's a white male, and it doesn't, nothing like that could ever happen to him. But as you see right now, I go, maybe it's just karma because now you just lost your job. I was like, kind of like that. I have no like deep hate towards Stephen Colbert. 'Cause I'm very critical about like everybody, but that was something that happened, and it happened quite a while ago. And at the time when it happened, it's like, oh, am I supposed to take this? It's like a comedy bit. But the reality is these men are so out of touch that they could sit there and target a whole group of people. And they're like, oops, the joke fell flat. And then they don't care. And then they're making millions of dollars, right? It's just a thing like that. And it was really, take some time to like really sit with that thing right there. But he's like, why just shoot for half the audience and why not the whole audience? A successor of David Letterman, Colbert belongs to the class of comedians including Jon Stewart, John Oliver, who lean heavily on political satire to draw laughs from their audience. But you guys also said Seth Meyers, who's also one that got totally booted from me because again, it was another incident like that where these white men jump into a topic where they should shut their damn mouth, and they just got a whole bunch of women targeted. So that was part of that human what was it? Sesta Fossa thing, I think. Something to do with that. Anyway, yeah, it was really awful. I was like, he's gross, dude. Like I was like, I used to, like all these guys I used to like love watching on SNL, and then he was one of my favorites, Seth, up until that moment, and then it just turned ugly from about right there, and it never looked good since, So he was another one. So I like him less than I do Steve Colbert. But so then we have Jon Stewart, who's just kind of, again, self-righteous, white male, entitled white male. And then I love the way they react though to this, because there's a lot of hypocrisy with these people, because it's like, oh, we're going to spread around love and inclusion and all these things, except for this huge group of people that we don't like. Okay. So, and then they're like, you need to be positive all the time and be nice and do these things. And then all of a sudden they're all over here going, F you, F you, blah, blah, blah. And it's not me spreading this, because I believe that it's a healthy thing to be angry once in a while, and you don't have to like everybody. That's totally fine and healthy. But these people like go to this far extreme that if you don't fit into this thing, which we tend to not most of the time for whatever reason, then therefore we're going to target the crap out of you. And particularly with white men, as you see, white men, David Letterman, Jon Stewart, John Oliver is actually, wait, let me double check. Oh yeah, white. Okay. I was thinking it was there was a black host, and I was like, they're all white. But for the most part here, we have Jay Leno, we have David Letterman, there was like Conan, we have, that other guy. I'm like, that other guy. Oh, Jimmy Fallon, Jon Stewart, okay, so we have all of them. They're all these white men, right? And they're so out of touch. Like, they're all out of touch, and they really are. And they don't think they are. And then no one ever calls them out. And then when I call them out, I'm like, woke. I don't know, some weird thing. They start with these names, like the Bill Maher's, like, we're woke, and like these childish, like they're in their frat house still from when they were 20 years old. And, they're ready to do some major crime on me or something. And then they get together, they're pissed off, and they start being passive aggressive and doing stupid ass crap on TV. And, but they just say stupid shit all the time. But, beyond any other thing like that, I'm just saying, I actually agree with what he's saying though, because it does not include everybody. And I was saying that no matter how much I disagree, even though I don't need to, there's a lot of things I don't need to do in my life with people. I don't need to let them be on my page. I don't need to listen to them if I don't want to. But I was saying that no matter how much I don't like these people, and even if I make my comments about them, I still listen to what they have to say. And I think it's really important to listen to what they have to say, because we need to know where they're at. But they wanted to do this whole thing about, we want to mute these guys' voices. Well, like I said, you're going to pay for that shit. I would not do that. And you're going to ask for it, because you're going to only piss people off. Was I not right? I was absolutely spot on, because I know how I feel about things, but I'm not as rambunctious as these other people. And so I'm like, I'm telling you right now, if you mute a group of people, all it's going to do is piss people off. The way you get people to go to your side is you keep talking and you keep making your points. And eventually, either if you're right, or you're more agreeable on a topic, and whatever, people will move to your side. They will, because it's happened. Hasn't it happened with you guys, like out here? Like, you heard somebody talk about something that you had a different opinion on, and all of a sudden somebody changed it. And you cannot have it happen unless other people speak. And no, you don't have to agree with them. You don't even have to like it, and you don't even have to be nice about it, but you still listen to them. You can still listen to them. You just need to know what's going on. You need to know what's going on. And then they're always out of touch, because then they're like, wow, Kamala didn't even get, I told you, these people are so out of touch, it's not even funny. Nobody wanted her. You don't understand. They didn't even want to even vote for her, even as a pity vote. And they wanted to believe somehow, like, it's a different universe. But you're not listening to anybody. And then they chronically, you can't call everybody a troll though, because everybody's not a troll just because you disagree with it. So they're not trolling. They have these like really bad opinions half the time. And when they do, then you need to come into a conversation with them and explain to them why it's, bad, or how do they got to this point. That's just where it's at. And then You can't, I mean, I don't know who would want to watch TV if like the whole time it's just, we hate women, we hate woke people, we hate, you know what I mean? It's just like annoying as crap. I mean, I stick to a topic over here. I'm not doing late night. I was like, we're not doing late night. But honestly, if I was thrown into that thing, then it would be a combo of what I'm doing right now, because I'm trying not to keep it where it's like, oh, the Dems are the ones that were with Jeffrey Epstein, or the Republicans are the ones that were with Jeffrey Epstein. I keep trying to push people away from that because it really has nothing to do with actually what was in that universe. Oh, I know what I was going to say on that one. That lawyer guy, that whatever dude. Oh yeah, so he wrote that thing in Harvard or something. That also reminded me of my thing with Harvard, because the whole time, like, they're totally fine with them trying to justify being with children, and like this is some educational thing that we should be able to debate up in here. So I don't know. He wrote, I think it was him that wrote something about the law should be able, we should be able, what's the problem with me being with the 12-year-old? I don't know, some bullshit. It was a 16-year-old or some, I don't even know. It was something like that. Okay, so he was one of Jeffrey's pals. And I was like looking at the school, like, what the hell? And so I did some deep diving into the history of Harvard, and then I hated Harvard ever since. It had nothing to do with the same reasons that whatever Trump was going after is a different reason. But they're out of touchness, their hatred of women, their being able to talk. I don't know, that whole thing right there. We're not debating whether children can consent or not, or anything like that, and trying to change laws for it. But he was trying to do it, and I do believe he was trying to do it to help all his pals and him to never get in trouble being with kids or something. It was something of that nature. I just remember going through all this about like over a decade ago. And yeah, it's a hefty topic. Like, I can only hit it like in these little excerpts, like on the other website, but instead of how I used to, like on Twitter, because they're still pro censorship, even though he says he's not. They're still pro censorship because they won't even let me do that, because I just want to talk about, like, I would rather do paragraphs of like things like that on a site like that than what I'm doing right now. Because I have too much to say. Like, way too much to say. All right, Jay, you're absolutely correct. So call out what it is. Notably, even less politically minded comics like Jimmy Fallon, who replaced Leno, and Jimmy Kimmel. No, Jimmy Kimmel's always been, he's a frat house boy. I can't. And then it says, have opted for sharper critiques of the current president. Leno was off the air before Trump's first successful run. And I noticed that he didn't bring up that other guy, and it's probably so they don't get into a thing, because I don't know, man. I like to bring people into the big picture. I don't understand why you would alienate one particular group. I'm not saying you have to throw your support or whatever, but just do what's funny. I don't think anybody wants to hear a lecture. Yeah, not on late night TV. Like, that's the last place I want to hear a jam lecture. But Colbert is like always like, can we do this thing? You know what I mean? Like, he needs a whole different show. Like, go do your Catholic hour. I mean, I don't know. It's just not for me, dude. It is really, really not for me. He's a depressing guy, to be honest. Like, what I talk about, my topic sounds so horrible, because they are horrible. But really, when you're hearing me talk, like, he's actually like a really depressing guy. They were asking him questions, and I was like, yeah, his religion, and he's got issues, and that's probably why, making fun of women or whatever his, I was like, whatever his bullshit is, going on that thing. Like, again, the people that I'm critiquing, but a lot of these people, I don't hate them. You'll know when I hate somebody. Like, lightning bolt. Like, like, there's a very different tone to that, because these are people that are like as bad as Jeffrey Epstein. So I would never expect, see, here's another thing with these people, these same people. I would never, ever expect to tell Jeffrey Epstein's victims that they need to be nice and say nice things about Jeffrey Epstein, and they can't be negative, and they can't post hateful things about nobody. Okay, this is ridiculous. So they've been trying to pawn that shit off on me too. So it's not like a one person thing. But then another thing that they did when I was saying about like the Madonna thing, which was really stupid, because billionaires just say whatever. Just because I did not vote for Kamala does not make me a racist, so shut the fuck up. So that's actually what happened. So there's a lot of us out here that we have different reasons why we don't like certain people, and I'm actually laying it out because I think she does not like other women, and then her base is saying bullshit, right? It doesn't mean that some other people out here didn't vote for her because they are racist. Maybe they are, but you just literally took out everybody that didn't vote for her, calling them all racist. So, but I think you all have a problem. Everybody on every side has a problem with women. So I was like, that is just that. Over being a racist, but just things like that, right? Because I don't know. I thought that was the most idiotic one, mostly because the whole reason why I didn't vote for her is because she targets women. So, and then she's off saying that kind of crap, and I'm like, no. So then we should vote for Candace Owens. So I gotta show I'm not racist. I was like, I don't think, if she ran and you don't vote for Candace Owens, I'm gonna call you a racist. Cause she's awful. Like, she's awful. So that wouldn't be the reason why we're not voting for Candace Owens. Okay. That would not be the reason why we're not voting for her. Yeah, we have to be careful of that thing right there. But I'm not on late night. Do you guys want to put me on late night? No. These goddamn male supremacists. I would have to make fun of all these guys. It would have to be me making fun of all these guys. I think Leno can take a joke. I hope. I actually think he can. He seems pretty, actually from this response, he seems pretty, like, chill. Like, you know, I don't have to agree with your shit, but, you know, I'll tell you, Jay Leno, and your fucking million cars that you keep driving out here. I don't know. I haven't seen him. I think I had seen him a long time ago, but he has like a million cars, or he used to. I seen somebody in an old car the other day, and I was like thinking, is that Leno again? I have no idea, but anyways. Underneath it all, you guys, I have no hate for these people. Some people are annoying me though, like really bad right now. So it's like, don't push it.